So I'd like to send my thoughts and prayers to the families and the victims of the New Zealand massacre. You know, it was an evil, evil act. It was just an act of evil, and yeah, I pray that y'all guys have healing, and that those who survive are able to unite with their loved ones. I've been saying this for a long time, that something like this was going to happen. I've kind of, figured that something like this would end up happening. And it's the same that we were already polarizing this politically, where people are now taking sides. And this is kind of what the pseudo wanted, is for us to take sides like this and to be divided once more. And I've been saying this for a long time, and I think this is kind of proof of it. The shooting happened in New Zealand, obviously, not America, but it was based off American politics. And the only thing that I can really say about this is that I told you for a long time that a civil war is happening. And in one of my last videos, I said that I don't think this would become a global. I don't think this will become just in the United States. I think this will probably become a global event. And I'm thinking that we're still really seeing proof of that with this right here. This right here is actually showing proof that something is happening, right? That some type of events happening, not just here in America, but in Europe and across the board. You know, it's free thinkers versus socialism, and I want, and I pray that free thinkers can end up coming out of this pretty good, but I'm not sure. And you know, we might be looking at a World War III that's going to look a lot different than countries versus countries. I think World War III might be just a bunch of countries and get engaged in a civil war. And you know, Tim Pool made a video today, and he said that we were at the gates of that we're basically at the gates of a civil war, and he hasn't been wrong. And I mean, you look at how violent things are getting, it's pretty clear that we're almost there, that we're all facing a civil war, and this is only polarizing us further into that. And you know, I've been saying for a long time that this polarization is going to get somebody killed, and it has. Now, I'm not the only one that's selling off the alarm bells. Other people have too before this event happened, and now we got a bunch of people dead based off politics. And you know, this is what happens really when you tell people it's okay to punch other people. It is, you know, this is what happens when you tell people it's okay to hate your enemy. This is what happens when you go around and telling people that there are Nazis everywhere, and that, you know, everyone who disagrees with you is homophobic, racist, and all this kind of stuff. This is what happens, and it really results in very nasty things. And the way Tim Pool said it is that we're probably going to be in a war, you know, civil war within 2 years. And you know, I don't think, I necessarily don't disagree with him. I think he might be right. And I mean, you see how far we're coming when we're having street battles. You know, where there's literally people in the streets beating each other up right now here in this country. Here in America, we have people fighting each other in the streets. You know, we've seen the Proud Boys and Antifa engaged in street battles. We've seen just this polarization of violence on both sides. And one of the biggest ones was Charlottesville. And at the end of the day, Charlottesville might end up being in history what started the war. I'm not saying that it probably is, but I mean, that is probably what is people going to point to, because that's one of the big events that's leading us into where we're headed. And you know, I'd like to believe that we can stop this, that we can call out people again, people who do evil. And unfortunately not, because the left wants to censor everybody, and all you're doing is throwing people in these echo chambers where they're only getting riled up by people who agree with them, and they're becoming radicalized by people who agree with them. And it's not just on one side; it's on both sides. And the socialists. I believe we can defeat socialism by speaking out against socialism and showing people how evil socialism is. But if the left keeps trying to censor us off YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, then this is never going to happen, right? We're never going to fix what's broken in America without being able to discuss and talk with each other. And as long as this happens, well, there's nothing that we can do about it. And unfortunately, this is where it led us, right? This is where it's leading us. And I'm praying for the people in Europe. I'm praying for the people in New Zealand. I'm praying for Americans here. I'm praying for everyone around the world. And the reason for that is because we're so gripped between right versus left. We're so immune in right versus left that we tend to essentially, I guess what I'm trying to say is that we are gripped in this whole back and forth violence that we don't see what we're headed towards. And I think we need to get a better picture of that, because if we don't, we will be dooming ourselves. We'll be dooming our kids. We'll be dooming everything. And the reason I say that is because it's true. We are about, we're looking like we're about to engage in some type of civil conflict, because people on both sides don't want to talk to each other anymore, right? Matt Ross once said that the only thing that's keeping us from firing on each other right now is the fact that most people want to go home and watch their Netflix and sit and sorry for cussing, but I don't think he's wrong about that. I mean, that might be our saving grace, hopefully, but in the end of the day, we just can't live with each other anymore. And that's going to become dangerous, because once we can't live with each other, we're just going to start committing violence all over the place. And we're starting to see the start of that, at least. Hopefully we can pull it back. Hopefully we can walk away from it, but I don't know if we can. I think it might be a little too late. I'm still trying to have hope that we can fix it, that we can figure out a way to get along. But the more I'm seeing on the news and everything else, and the more I'm seeing right versus left, people pulling guns out on each other and all this kind of stuff just because they disagree with you, it's starting to look like we might be at a point where we're not able to turn this around, and the only result might be a war, unfortunately. And I'm praying that we don't have to do that. Like I said, this act in New Zealand was completely evil, and one of the problems is we're trying to take God out of everything. I think we need to bring back God into places, and I think that we can learn to love each other and all this kind of stuff. That's the beautiful thing about religion, is religion's there for a purpose. It was there to keep people from doing evil things, and I think we need to bring that back into this country. I think we need to bring back the idea of God, the idea of religion, because that's really what this comes down to, is that I think it comes down to values. And just because, you might say, I don't need a God to dictate my values, you might not need to, but that doesn't mean other people don't need that God to dictate their values. I mean, that's why we have a Bible to begin with, is because back in the day, people couldn't predict their own values. So we had a Bible to basically tell us our values, and this is the way to live. I mean, that's just the thing. So, like I said, my thoughts and prayers are with the people in New Zealand. I pray we can, as an entire world, we can come through this for the better. And let's pray that this event shows people just how polarized we really are, and lets them walk away from it. So, we'll see.